So I think we have our issues figured out here. There doesn't have to be a ton of content right here. It just has to be reasonably organized. I think it is now. I think that's okay. Now, I wanted to reintroduce, like, my sky is quite gray, and it's going to stay fairly gray and muted, but I wanted to bring some of that sky color down into the painting a little bit. So early on I made this bolder and this one, you know, quite gray. I might still, well, this in the shadow side here isn't even painted, so I'll still touch it a little bit. And then I also decided to, because that was the only one in the foreground, I thought I'd have another boulder sitting over here. That is same palette as there. That just, you know, help to balance things out a little bit and help to reintroduce, to keep a little more gray in the foreground. I kind of like it if I have colors in certain areas to also replicate them in other areas. This sort of grassy, sort of rocky, bumpy area here, it's okay. I haven't decided exactly how to finish it off down here yet. This is bothering me. I have quite high chroma here. That is burnt sienna and a bit of yellow ochre. I like the colors. I want to keep it alive down here, but it might be a little bit overwhelming. So I'm thinking of, okay, one possibility is to dumb this down a little bit, just subdue them. The other possibility, and I think this is more likely the answer, it's funny because this is an example where this bothers me, but the solution may not lay here. I think the solution will be to add more light onto this tree here, or onto the green foliage adjacent to it, because that higher value will help to kill the high chroma and value of that edge. So, you know, if one thing bothers you, maybe you can do something else somewhere else that will help to alleviate that issue. Anyway, I think that's what I'm going to do with that. And then we have this large hill, and that's very blue and very solid line going up here. I'm tempted to do something to break it up a little bit. I may change the shape of the hill slightly. You know, it's possible that I even run an old dead tree trunk, you know, a standing dead tree trunk or two, cutting right through this line, you know, in a place or two. I'm not sure. I'm not fond of that idea right now because this is all knifed in and it's got a lot of texture. So it's hard to do a really good job of going over that now because this paint is pretty dry. Anyway, I'll keep playing. I'll play with these rocks first, I think. I'm just going to put a little more light on the face of them. Not a ton, just a little. Got quite a bump there. I'll scrape that off. Putting a little more blue in that on the shady side. It's not much It's not much lower value, but because it's a colder color, I think it serves all right. And also, I guess I may as well finish what I've got going on here. Just needed a couple of strokes. Okay, a little bluer again. Just putting in a bit of ultramarine blue. Okay, I'll add a little bit of burnt sienna to that as well. Bring our value down a tad. Alright, no need to get too fussy over there on the edge of the painting. Okay, that's going to do it for those two slate colored rocks. Slate colored rocks. Now, let's address this little thing here. Alright, now I have been using ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, a bit of yellow ochre, and, of course, our best friend white. Let's see, is this approximating what I need? Yeah, it is. Okay. A little more white. A little bit of yellow ochre. Oop, a little too much yellow ochre. Yep. Higher value here is kicking down the chroma there. I like it. That's working. But I think that I would like to, see, I have a very undefined tree edge here of this tree. I think I'd like to lighten it up a little bit. So, I'm going to use the same colors. Actually, I'm going to leave the burnt sienna out of this. I'm just going to use a little bit of ultramarine blue and yellow ochre. We'll go a little bit greener. And actually, I'm using this knife, and I'm actually going to use this one It's a little, it's more flexible, it's a little smaller. And I really need that fine flexibility right now because I'm laying wet paint into wet paint, and that's especially hard on a knife painting. Unless you're really going crazy. You know, unless you're not afraid of being completely impasto. But I don't want to do that on this painting. I can't use my fingers as a maul stick right now either because everything I'm playing with every place I'm putting a stroke has already got wet paint adjacent to it. So I would end up leaving fingerprints all over the canvas. That's no good. Okay. I'm just going to make a mess if I keep doing this, and I don't want to make a mess now because there will be no fixing it. I'm painting over texture. But I think I'm going to stand up and back up and have a look, and I think that has certainly helped our problem here, if not fixed it completely. It's looking better, but immediately I notice that I have too much of a perfect little angle going here, and I don't want that either. Whoops. Where did all that white suddenly come from? Dummy. Okay, I'm stopping with that on the trees. Well, let's play down here a little bit now. I'll just see how my values are on that. Not too bad. I'm going to try to drop my values, drop my values and chroma. Cool the temperature of the paint as I work my way off the edge. I think that I would like to have it light enough here against this dark gray rock here, because that's going to help to oppose this very strong blue line by doing that. I think that'll be an aid. Whoops. See, there I go, right away. I'll just go bossing my way into that dark line, and that was a mistake. I must learn to be more careful. My mom always told me, you must learn to be more careful. That might be a bit strong. I'll tone it down. I'm just using raw umber and yellow ochre right now. Keeping it simple. I'm not trying to get too complicated with the colors. Nothing too fancy. Just methinks that will work. A little more raw umber, a little bit of yellow ochre, and I think a little bit of ultramarine blue, just to green it up slightly. Makes it greener and cooler. The edge of the painting. Keep that reasonably tidy. Okay, getting rid of this knife. And if you can make bigger strokes and use a larger knife, do that, as long as you can keep it under control. So we're going to this knife. I'm trying to flicker it around a little bit so you can sort of see the light catching off of it. Alright. Raw umber, yellow ochre, a bit of white. Going darker because, you know, where it joins up with the tree here and on the edge of the painting, there's no reason to have bright colors on a painting that really isn't a very bright colored painting to begin with. The focal area of the painting, the last thing it needs is competition from the edge. Actually, I need to put a little more raw umber on my palette. Using a knife does eat up a lot of paint. I'm not complaining, it's just how it is. Okay. More of that. And a bit of yellow ochre. No harm in letting the wash-in show through a little bit in a few places. It keeps it interesting. Okay. Okay, that was simple. I may do some sort of an interesting shape in here. I may even revisit some of the grays. We'll see. It's pretty close to where it's going to be though. So, you know, aside from a few final decisions, and the most important one being, what am I going to do with this line and this large blue mass? How I'm going to break that up, because that definitely has to be addressed. Aside from that and a few small things, the painting is coming very close to being done. Let me just move the camera. I'll just move the whole tripod and drop the painting so you get sort of a richer view of it. Let's see here. We'll try to get it roughly centered. And there, that's just what I've been playing with now. But you know, what I'm scanning right now, it's raw umber, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, and white. But you know, varying those different colors and amounts. You get to this rock, that's ultramarine blue and raw umber. But anyway, I'm not going to do the scan right now, but that's how it's looking. It's almost there. Thanks for watching.